Hey, how's it going? Lee Hayward here, and right now I'm getting ready to head to the gym for my last workout of 2020. It's my New Year's Eve workout. Going to get one in now before the gym closes. There we go. Get myself settled away here. Now, what I want to do in this video is one of the things I want to address. I mean, here we are, it's New Year's Eve, and of course, the New Year's celebration, and then what happens January 1st, and everyone's going to start planning their New Year's resolution fitness and fat loss goals, right? This is the common trend every year. And of course, now come the first week of January, you're going to see a big boom in the gym, people joining up and trying to get back on track. Now, I know this year might be a bit different with the whole COVID situation. In some places the gyms are under lockdown and not open. Some places they are open, but whatever. Bottom line, things are going to start to change, right? I always do. Every year, people start to decide that this is it. I'm going to make a change, right? I'm going to get myself in shape, lose the fat that I gained over the holidays, because hey, everyone's probably feeling a bit fat and bloated and guilty, and that's it. You're motivated. Motivation sky high. I want to get myself back in shape. But there's one mistake that a lot of people make that's going to hinder progress and ultimately set you up for failure. And I want to address that in this video right now. It's the mistake of trying to do too much too soon and having too big of an expectation right off the bat. Like, very often you see people when they finally hit their threshold where they say, that's it, enough's enough, I'm sick and tired of being overweight and out of shape, I'm going to make a change. Once people get to that stage, what very often happens is they go all out. They say, that's it, I'm going to go low carb, or I'm going to go on a fasting protocol, or I'm going to go on some crazy extreme cutting diet. I'm going to be working out daily, 2 hours a day, going to be doing cardio. All right, that's it. I'm making a change. Put my foot down. Boom. And while I respect that effort, I respect the motivation and the drive, that is a recipe for disaster. It really is. You can't sustain that pedal to the metal, gung-ho motivation drive all the time. It just doesn't work that way. A better approach, and this is one that I've adopted over the years and one that I've encouraged my coaching students to follow, is instead of taking this all or nothing extreme approach where you try and overhaul your entire diet, your entire lifestyle from day one, how about we just focus on getting a little bit better? Baby steps. A philosophy and a mindset that I like to use is, how about we just focus on getting 1% better each day? That's it. 1% better. Instead of trying to cut out everything from day one, overhaul your entire diet and lifestyle from day one, let's just get 1% better. Let's just make some small baby steps. And while that doesn't sound like much in the moment, it's a sustainable approach for long-term results. And just think about it. Like, if you took that mindset and that approach this year, 2021, right? If you took that mindset, instead of trying to crash diet yourself to losing weight and say, I am going to go on some extreme 30-day shred where I'm going to cut out this and cut out that, and I'm going to fast and I'm going to kill myself in the gym, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's just going to lead to burnout. It's going to lead to frustration. It's going to lead to food cravings. You're just going to feel exhausted mentally and physically. And sooner or later, once that willpower and drive wears off, usually around February, right? Like, you may make it through January with that piss and vinegar motivation, but by the second week of February, you're going to be like, I can't stand this anymore. It's too much. Oh man, I'm feeling hungry. And you're going to say, screw it. You're going to start binge eating. You're going to quit the gym and go back to your old habits. And the next thing you know, back to square one, and then next year, right, New Year's 2021, you're going to be saying the same thing, right? You're going to say, hey, I'm going to start a diet and go on a fat loss program all over again. And it happens to millions of people year after year after year. And I'm speaking from experience. I used to fall for this all or nothing extreme approach myself. Like, back in my competitive bodybuilding days, for those of you who are not familiar with my past, like, I was a competitive bodybuilder from 1995 right up until 2011. And that was the approach that I took every time I got ready for a bodybuilding show, was this extreme cutting approach, where I would put on the blinders and that's it. I'm going to focus on this fat loss diet, like the whole eat, sleep, train, repeat BS, and just focus on this extreme approach. And while that works in the short term, it's not sustainable long term. And ultimately what happens is you end up running out of willpower, going back to your old habits, and then when you go back to your old habits, you binge eat and you gain the weight back again. It's a whole yo-yo diet cycle over and over again. So now what I do is I take a complete 180 opposite approach and just focus on small improvements, small sustainable improvements that you can maintain over the long term. So when it comes to your exercise, maybe instead of trying to kill yourself in the gym, we just start off like, hey, maybe I'm going to commit to going for a 10-minute walk every day. Like if you haven't been doing anything, just commit. Can you do 10 minutes of walking? Yeah, maybe you can do that. When it comes to your meals, like instead of trying to starve yourself, go keto or fast or whatever type of approach, how about we just reduce the portion sizes a little bit? How about we start adding in more vegetables? How about we start drinking more water? And just little tiny bits of progress, little steps in the right direction, and let those steps compound. I mean, just think if you made 1% improvement each day for the next year. Like where would you be by this time next year? I mean, chances are the majority of you watching this right now, you would probably be at your ideal body weight, hit your fitness goals, and be able to sustain it because it's not this extreme all or nothing approach, right? The problem with all or nothing is you very rarely get all, and more often than not, you end up with nothing. And again, I'm speaking from experience, right? I've been there, I've done that. I've went through the extremes, right? I've went through like these contest cutting diets where I've managed to get myself in shape for the contest, step on stage, look good for the photos and all that kind of stuff. But then after the contest was over, I'd go back to my old habits, start eating the same old foods that I ate before, go back to the old habits of not doing regular cardio and all that kind of stuff. And then slowly but surely, the fat would pile on. And in fact, it took months to lose it and only a few weeks of bad habits to gain it all back again. So instead of this extreme all or nothing approach, how about we just take small baby steps and forget the deadline? Forget trying to lose your weight in 2 weeks or 30 days or any of that nonsense, and just focus on moving in the right direction. And forget the goal. Forget the goal in terms of the end deadline, saying like, I got to get in shape in 30 days or 90 days or whatever, and just say, I'm just going to gradually make progress. Like one foot in front of the other, day after day after day, and eventually you're going to get there. And even though that sounds like the slow, painful way of doing it, it's actually the fast way in the long term because you're not going to have the relapses. And the relapses is what sets people back, right? It's almost like visualize you're going to run a marathon, right? And just imagine you're at the start of a marathon, right? 26 miles, and you're going to try and sprint your way to the finish of a marathon. You can't do it. I mean, the best runners in the world cannot sprint their way to the finish of a marathon. It's impossible. You cannot do it. You have to pace yourself from the start so that you can endure the long marathon in order to finish. The same applies with fat loss. Fat loss isn't a sprint to the finish. It is a long, slow marathon. You have to pace yourself from the start in order to have the stamina to even complete the whole journey. And if you try and do too much too soon, it's a recipe for disaster. And I know so many people are going to set themselves up for disaster. And I've been talking to a lot of friends and family members and business colleagues, and man, everybody's got the grand plans for New Year's. Oh, I'm going to go on a fast. I'm going to do this, or I'm going to blah, 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 or whatever. And again, I respect the enthusiasm, but I know it's short-lived because these people have been struggling with their weight for years, and it's not a sustainable approach. So if you would like some help with coming up with a realistic action plan, something that's going to lay out a solid foundation, a step-by-step plan of action that you can actually follow along with, then I've got something that might help you. And it's my Lose Your Gut Challenge. This is something that I've ran several times. And basically what it is, it's a free 5-day Lose Your Gut Challenge where we're going to go deep into intensive virtual coaching. It's going to be a private Facebook group, and I'll be doing live video coaching every single day, providing you with a meal plan, with workouts, whether that's workouts at the gym or home workouts that you can follow along with, but it's sustainable. It's not this all or nothing extreme approach. It's just making small bits of progress daily. And if you want to be a part of that, the whole Lose Your Gut Challenge, where we're going to really overhaul and basically like change your mindset, almost like reprogramming your compass when it comes to fitness, nutrition, and fat loss, so that we change it. And then the default habits, the things that you know you should be doing but aren't doing right now, we're just going to kind of reprogram it so that you start doing the things that you should be doing automatically by default without conscious effort and willpower. And that's what the whole 5-day Lose Your Gut challenge is about. It's a 5 days of intensive coaching to help change your mindset, so then you can then take what you learned over the course of those 5 days and apply it to the rest of 2021 and reach your fitness and fat loss goals, and not have this yo-yo dieting relapse and on and off again and all that kind of stuff. So if you would like to be part of this, then I'm going to be launching it on Friday, January 8th. That's when we're going to be kicking it off. So if you're interested and you want some more details about it, just post down below this video, post the words "lose your gut." Lose your gut. Post that down there below, and I'll send you a private message with all the details about it, and I'll invite you to come on board. And like I say, it's good. It's going to be fun. It's going to be challenging, but I want you to participate in this, because this can make a huge difference. Right? This can make a huge difference and set you up on the right track for reaching your fitness and fat loss goals in 2021. All right, I'm going to clue it up now. Head to the gym, because they're going to be closing early today, where it's New Year's Eve. I'm going to get myself in a workout, and I'll talk to you next year. Literally, next year. Take care. Over and out.